Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. We have a lot to talk about on a late Thursday afternoon. The South Carolina offensive coordinator hire. It is by far the biggest decision that Shane Beamer has had to make. And I firmly believe if South Carolina gets it right, this team can be damn good in 2026. But if Shane Beamer misses, I think there's a good chance that we're talking about a new head coach for South Carolina after the 2026 season. I truly believe that Shane Beamer's job depends on getting this hire right. Now, we're going to do two different things. Number one, talk about some names that have generated some buzz early on in this process. Now, number two, I want to give you my top three. I put a lot of thought into this in terms of what offensive coordinators I'm looking for. I think I got a money top three in terms of guys I think can turn this South Carolina offense around. But I want to start with this real quick, and that is, what am I looking for? What are the qualities that are non-negotiables for the next South Carolina offensive coordinator? Number one, I I don't want to see Shane Beamer get so infatuated with guys that have been in the NFL because I think it's fundamentally different how you call an offense in the NFL versus how you call it at the collegiate ranks. I look at Mike Shula and say, when you are an offensive play caller in the NFL, it's very scheme reliant. There's not a ton of separation in terms of the talent on the football field in the National Football League. You got to win with scheme. Well, it's a completely different story at the collegiate ranks. When you look at the offenses that are the best at the collegiate ranks, it's the ones that lean in to their Jimmies and Joes and fundamentally structure an offense around their best players, getting the football to their best players. Where did Mike Shula fall short? I would argue it's in this category most importantly. I don't think he did a good enough job getting Lenore Sellers into spots where he can really excel. I don't think Mike Shula did a good enough job. Hey, get Nick Harbor. You got two freaks of nature. Like Lenore Sellers at quarterback, Nick Harbor at wide receiver are some of the freakiest athletes that we see in this sport. And I don't feel like this offense was built around their skill sets and their ability. I think we try and you kind of look at this permeates throughout the rest of the South Carolina offense because I go to the South Carolina offensive line and say, hey, maybe we're just trying to do too much from a schematic standpoint on the offensive line too, right? Because what we said is, hey, what's the biggest problem with the South Carolina offensive line? That like the pass protection, the blown assignments, it looked like this South Carolina offense consistently was lost. And maybe we were trying to do much schematically in terms of our protections and in the run game as well. That's my take on college versus NFL. Now, the two things that I'm looking for from the next South Carolina offensive coordinator, number one, it's really two different things. Can you get the best out of your quarterbacks? Do you have a strong track record of getting the best out of quarterbacks? Because look, let's just simplify this thing. You get the best out of your quarterback and you have a quarterback that's playing at a high level, chances are you're putting up points. Number two, and I think this is a big deal, really big deal. Give me an offensive coordinator that knows how to dial it up in the run game. Look at if you cannot run the football in this conference and you have to drop back and throw the football 40 to 50 times in the SEC, man, it's really hard to win that way because you'll look around you. Every other SEC team that you have on your schedule, they have elite edge rushers, elite guys on the defensive line. And if you are consistently dropping back and throwing the football because you can't lean on a run game, it's going to be really hard to score in this conference. So give me an offensive coordinator that has a proven track record, getting the best out of quarterbacks. And number two, an offensive coordinator that can run the damn football. If you do those two things, you put yourself in a really good spot to have a good offense at South Carolina. Getting into some names to know, getting into my top three before we do, and as always, I need the input from the South Carolina fans. It's been a fan base that's been awesome to the boys the last couple of years. We can't thank you guys enough. Y'all do enjoy the content. Consider subscribing to the channel. Let it rip in the comment section. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, a name that has generated some buzz that I don't hate, but I'm not necessarily sure if I love either, is current Cincinnati offensive coordinator Brad Glenn. Now, I know the 24/7 Sports profile has Virginia Tech. He's now at Cincinnati. Now, I think the reason this name is generating some buzz is, number one, the Cincinnati offense, led by Brandon Sorsby, been really damn good. The second part is he has a relationship with Sean Elliott. Actually, he was the offensive coordinator for Sean Elliott back when Sean Elliott was the head coach at Georgia State. What do you like about Brad Glenn? Number one, we're running the football, man. And 5.7 yards per carry at Cincinnati this year, that is top 10 in the country. We're averaging 6.8 yards per play. That's ninth best in the country. There's a lot to like about what Brad Glenn is doing at Cincinnati. And here's the other thing you could do, depending on the future of Lenore Sellers, is like Brandon Sorsby, who's having a lot of success. Let me get the right numbers here: 21 passing touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. Damn good year out in the Big 12. He's a redshirt junior. Like, has one more year of eligibility. He could be the guy that if Lenore Sellers decides to leave South Carolina, you get Brad Glenn, but you also get a veteran quarterback that knows the scheme that could maybe come to South Carolina too. There's a lot to like about Brad Glenn. Getting into my top three. Y'all know this one. Like Gus, I think there are two very, very obvious phone calls you need to make. Gus Malzahn at Florida State. The thing that continues to stand out to me about Gus Malzahn is he did at Florida State exactly what Shane Beamer's looking the next offensive coordinator to do. And that is turn around a miserable offense and score points the very next year. Because look, Shane Beamer needs this to be quick. You don't have time. Shane Beamer does not have time to build this slowly. You need to have an offensive coordinator that can come in immediately, take over an offense that flat out stinks right now, and turn it into a damn good offense immediately in one offseason. That's what Gus Malzahn did. That Florida State offense in 2024 was the worst in the Power Four. Now they're one of the better offenses in the Power Four in general. You look at some of the numbers and say, hey, we're running the football at an extremely high level. Tommy Castellanos is playing solid football. Gus Malzahn is the definition of, hey, my best football players are going to have a large impact on this game. He's got a first-round NFL draft pick in Deuce Robinson. Deuce Robinson getting fed. Go back to Gus Malzahn at UCF and just feeding RJ Harvey out of the backfield. What Gus Malzahn did in one offseason at Florida State is exactly what Shane Beamer's looking for the next offensive coordinators to do at South Carolina. To me, he's your first call. Very well might be a free agent too, because look, I don't think Mike Norvell is going to be back. Heck, now that I just thought about it, what if you brought in now I'm going a little off-road and I didn't prep this part of the conversation. What if Mike Norvell gets fired? Little rebound? Mike Norvell, offensive coordinator? Mike Norvell's play call is pretty damn good. Say what you want about a head coach. Well, I got to think about that a little bit more before I venture more into that conversation. Number two, very, very obvious candidate, in my opinion, Bobby Petrino. What I love about Bobby Petrino, he's doing it in the SEC, man. Right? You look at Bobby Petrino's numbers, man, 7.1 yards per play. That is top 5 in the country. Keep in mind, this is in the SEC. 6.2 yards per carry. That is third best in the country. Keep in mind, that's in the SEC. He is showing you he knows how to run an elite caliber offense in this conference, which is damn hard to do. Run game. And here's the other thing I love about Bobby Petrino. His transfer portal evaluations, they rock. I mean, they rock what he running the offense at Arkansas. You know, he had full control because Sam Pittman's very similar to Shane Beamer. Sam Pittman's a good CEO type of coach, good energy type of coach, but he ain't a great X's and O's coach. So, you know, Bobby Petrino had his hands all over not only the play calling, but the personnel side of things too. Go look at what he did in the portal. Like, brought in Omega Blake from, I believe, Charlotte. Omega Blake's been one of the better wide receivers in this conference. Brought over Mike Washington from, I believe, New Mexico. Mike Washington's one of the best running backs in this conference. Made a couple of monster additions on the offensive line. He evaluated really damn well in the portal. South Carolina is going to need to do that because it's not enough to just go out and get an offensive coordinator. Like, we're going to need to make some really good transfer portal evaluations and additions as well. Bobby Petrino has shown you he can do that. My only two worries, it's really one worry for both of these coaches, Bobby Petrino and Gus Malzahn, is how hungry are they? And what I mean by that is both of these guys have been head coaches at a very, very high level that are now offensive play callers that are seemingly kind of on the way out. My bigger concerns with Gus Malzahn. Gus Malzahn gave up a head coaching gig just so he could go and call plays. Is he willing to work the way you need to work to have success in this conference? Bobby Petrino, on the other hand, I think he wants another crack at a head coaching job. I don't know if he's going to get it, but if he comes to South Carolina, does a good job, very, very well, could be in the conversation in a year or two, even though he's 65 years old. Those are my two no-brainer first calls. I would be a home run if you get either one of those two. Last one I'll say, and this is more of an up-and-comer, Kade Bell. Now, I love what Kade Bell has done at Pitt. He's got a true freshman quarterback that is dicing people up. They're a top 25 college football playoff team right now, coming in at 24. My big concern with Kade Bell is and I love the young, I love the youth. I love the energy. This guy's clearly hungry to have success and get a crack at being a head coach. And I want those guys on my staff. Look, when I have coaches, I don't know why I'm saying but when you have coaches that take head coaching jobs, it means you made a good hire. Like Kade Bell comes to South Carolina. It's a very clear upgrade from Pitt, does well at South Carolina. He'll be in a short list of some head coaching jobs over the next couple of years. He's hungry. He wants it. Number two, scoring points at Pitt, man, with a head coach in Pat Narduzzi who don't like scoring points, right? Revolutionized this Pitt offense. Now, my big concern, the run game, doesn't really lean into the run game, doesn't run the football all that well. That might have a little bit to do with some limited personnel, but I really do want a coach that can run the football and knows how to scheme it up. Like Bobby Petrino and Gus Malzahn, when it comes to dialing up a run game, it's about as good as it gets. Kade Bell, a little bit more questions than answers. Again, I need an offense, or I really want an offensive coordinator that can bring a run game to South Carolina that we can lean on. This offensive coordinator conversation is going to take a lot of twists and turns. And I think the biggest domino that we need to see fall, and I'm not really sure if it's the chicken or the egg here, is Lenore Sellers going to decide to stay? And then does Shane Beamer make the decision on the next offensive coordinator hire with Lenore Sellers in mind, which would make sense, right? I mean, you want an offensive coordinator that can come in and get the best out of Lenore Sellers, or does Lenore Sellers leave and then you're making your offensive coordinator hire with the thought process of, hey, I want a really good offensive coordinator. Can an offensive coordinator bring a quarterback with him that can replace Lenore Sellers? We'll see how that plays out. It's such a fascinating hire, and I think it's such an important hire too. And if Shane Beamer gets it right, this team can win in 2026. Shane Beamer gets it wrong, at this time next year, we're talking about head coaching candidates, not offensive coordinator candidates. Pause it there. Appreciate you guys rocking with it. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. We'll talk to y'all later.